1. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, OBS crashed on me there. Not entirely sure why or how. But yes, sorry. We were asking questions about the neural rig. So I think the question I was asking was, where do you want this output? Is it solely your mind's eye, or do you want this be outputable to a device?
The mind's eye will be automatic, but I would like to be able to output the video to a display. Now, the drone remotes come with displays,
Mm-hmm.
or if anyone's got a tablet or some form of.
I have a rig with
You've got a rig
tablet.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my rig's internal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have ports for memory chips to be able to pull out and put into another rig?
I've got chip sockets, but I've also got the sockets that I plug my data cables into, and the data cable's universal.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you
I
can You can jack into somebody else's
rig. You have to physically plug in, even if you have a neural rig.
There is very limited wireless in this. Yeah. Your wireless is basically between the drone and its controller.
Yeah.
Person-to-person wireless isn't really a thing here.
Mm-hmm. So no, I can output via data cables.
And you wouldn't want it to be.
That's what biohacking is for.
Yes,
why
exactly.
It's so nasty.
So what you have programming as a skill as a core hacker, obviously.
I do.
Do you have it as a specialization?
How do I tell?
Did you underline it in your? Because you got 2 free specializations. I don't think, if I remember your character sheet, you didn't take it as a specialty. You took hacking as one.
Hacking advance. Oh, I've got S after 2 skills. Let's assume it's that.
Yes, I think
so. That's hacking and melee weapons.
Right. Okay. So those are your specialities.
Can stab you up.
Okay. In which case, what is your... So, hacking runs off... Sorry, brains. Programming runs off brains. What is your brains attribute?
9.
It is 9. Okay. This, however, is something fairly specialised.
It is. It's something fairly complicated.
So, I am going to ask you for a roll for this.
Okay, what am I rolling?
So, you are rolling 2d12...
Yay,
and we have our first proper skill check of the session. I will say that it is part of the way that this game is designed is for rolling to be kept to a minimum. The idea is that if you have the skill if you are able to do something, if you are skilled in doing something, you can generally do that, assuming that the attribute that it is linked to is higher than the difficulty that the GM sets. The exceptions for this are combat, stressful situations, or in instances where it would be narratively appropriate for there to be a roll. And I think this counts as narratively appropriate. So let me just double check what you got. So you said you have a brains of 9.
Yep.
You roll 2d12 and tell me what you got.
Okay.
Or what you get.
I'm trying to remember. Is this a roll under?
It is a roll under system.
Christ, nobody ever asked me to roll a lower, please.
Each one is its own roll under.
I got a 3 and an 8.
You got a 3 and an 8, so you have 2 dice successes, which means that the test is passed, whether you were skilled or unskilled. You are skilled. You haven't used any grit, but I don't think this is a place where I would allow a replenishment anyway. But you got your success. So yes, you are able to create a custom program to combine the feeds as you wish and be able to output them to alternative devices.
Cool. Yeah, this is probably something she's going to be doing on the, let's face it, train or long distance transports that we take to get out to where we're going. Everybody else is reading a book. She's just there trying to work out where the missing semicolon is.
Yeah,
which
basically predicates the role, because you're doing it under a constraining environment rather than sitting at home where you've got all the time in the world. Basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're time limited.
By reading a book, you mean chatting up the other people on the train?
Apparently, weird people. I don't know.
So yes, there is basically a station that you'll be able to take the metro to. There is basically in New Europe is connected up whilst there are roads. Vehicle travel over long distance is very expensive. Having your own vehicle, whilst nice, is also very expensive.
I looked at the prices. I wanted a motorbike. I can ride a motorbike. I can't afford a motorbike.
Fair.
One day I may steal one.
Vehicles generally tend to be in the hands of the corporations and their employees. It's rare that you will find an ordinary person on the street who is working more than walking distance or a metro stop from where they are living, basically. But there is a metro system, such as it is, mostly overground. You don't really want to be digging below the earth in many places. Luxem Sprawl being one of the few where it is safe to live underground. So, thanks to Hansor mainly working in concert with Trimble and Trimble, there is a light rail network that connects up most of the metropolis. You wouldn't be able to say go down to the south of France, what remains of the south of France, or into vampire borderlands very easly with it. But most highly populated and industrial districts will boast a light rail stop of some kind, and Charlet is no exception.
Yeah.
However, the site you want is a couple of miles from a couple of kilometers from Charlet Station. So yes, you know where you are going.
Okay. Right.
So, was there anything that anyone wanted to do before they left the base, as it were?
For leaving the base, no. But as we get closer to our surveillance location, I would like to. Presumably, there are street food vendors of a sort.
Definitely down here in the tunnels, and around the stations. There will be, yes.
Right
Around
on
the
the stick.
station. Excellent. That's fine. Then I would, as we get off the train at the station, I would look to purchase some sort of vaguely meaty paste type of substance for consumption.
I mean, Dra has it pretty much right. You are looking at not quite rat on a stick, but something not entirely dissimilar.
So long as there's something vaguely sticky about it, and I don't mean a straight piece of wood.
No, very heavily glazed,
and
probably smelling of synthetic cardamom. Or such.
I'll wrap that up and keep that for later. That will be useful later, I suspect.
Dill, Eastern European dill, in everything. It's gonna be dill.
we're not quite in the we are in the western part of New Europe, but yeah. Dill
True.
isn't a bad or thyme, synthetic thyme.
Now you're just getting into Doctor Who.
Yeah. Synth time. Or my own streaming channel.
I was about to say, very on brand for you, Chrono.
Yeah, exactly. So, uh,
I'm
sorry. Did anyone else want to do anything before leaving the base? And also, are you leaving the base today, such as today is?
I would say
yeah,
yes.
might as well.
Mhm.
I want to do two things, but I'm not sure how to do the first, even though it's supposed to be my job.
Well, ask. I mean that's what I'm here for.
Basically, I want to see if I can locate someone who might have information or data on the executives that run that particular office. So would that be like streetwise to see if I can locate someone to try and deal with? Because all I'm thinking right now is names, because I'll probably find more information on site.
Right. So, how do you want to go about doing this? Like, what sort of folks or what sort of areas are you? Because it will be a streetwise role, or it will be a streetwise skill check. Whether or not it's something you will have to roll or such will depend on how you want to go about doing this.
I'm going to go about doing it by finding, because there's obviously some form of commuting, so there's possibility that the folks that do the construction, they're going to be paying really low wages to folk that live in areas like this to go out there to do labor that, like, taking care of the machines directly, working with the stuff. So I want to find a hangout like that of those people and find someone who looks like they know things.
Okay. Streetwise is based off guts. What's your guts?
My guts is 8.
Your guts is 8. Okay. You know that that's not the sort of thing you'll be able to find out around here.
So it'd have to be closer in.
You'd probably want to be closer and find a bar or a apartment block that has workers from there to basically pump for information.
Yeah, no, that works. The second thing I want to do is to whistle and wait for Ash to come flying after they hear my whistle, and they'll be coming with me.
Okay, yeah, you can get hold of Ash. That's not a problem. They come to your call. Sarah Gill, is there anything that Silver wanted to do before leaving the base?
No, he kind of carries most things he needs with him. He's used to getting up and going away whenever he needs to.
I'm honestly surprised Silva didn't go for the third arm.
So expensive.
You were going to too, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
I feel your pain, Silver.
I was envisioning a full Doc Ock.
Oh, awesome!
Give it time.
Yeah,
That's not terrifying at all.
So, how? So, I'm guessing how long after you've given the mission are you taking before you set off?
To be honest, we can't really do much until we get on the ground and see what is what, and start assessing things like guard rotors and methods of entry.
Sure.
And the sooner we get there, the sooner we can pull it off, and we've got the time limit of how long those chemicals are going to be there.
Yeah, so we may as well get going soon as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Not a problem. So, you gather up your stuff. You do what you need to. You talk to the people you need to, and head out to the local rail station. And
assuming we're getting expenses for the tickets, because I don't know about anyone else. I'm hard up.
Let me check. Because I think there's. I should have looked up prices. Transport.
Is it walking distance? No, let's take the train.
Chalet is definitely not walking distance.
To be fair, I strongly suspect even if it was walking distance, it wouldn't be walking distance for me.
Yeah.
I ain't walking that distance.
No, I'm also now wondering if there is a house of negotiable affection there, and is there a Madame Chalet?
Oh God.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the underground, which is run by New Europe Utilities, runs 24 hours a day, and while the stations in the commercial district are police guarded, out in the suburbs, underground stations can be dangerous hotspots of crime and gang activity. Yeah, approximately 60% of the metropolis is connected. At least if you're prepared to hop trains a dozen times.
Yippee.
So, it doesn't say how much it costs. Taxi things. So, right, a taxi crossing is 50 net for a couple of suburbs. Yeah, so I'm guessing like tickets are not exactly expensive. It's a couple of net.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm gonna count that as minimal cost for a trip like this.
Okay.
Because you're only heading, a couple of hours. Basically, it's a 2-hour trip north. I might have to do some calculations on that off camera.
I mean, calculations or aside, it could also be we have some sort of passes because we work for the Butterfly, and that is our main employment. So they have transportation, whatever.
They probably
Probably
own a load
has-
of season tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's entirely fair. I mean, I doubt that New Europe Utilities is set up in quite that manner, but let's say at least for now they are, and you have at least passes that have what are effectively prepaid cards, the equivalent of Oyster in the UK.
Okay. We've
So,
got Welk cards.
yes.
God.
So yeah, you can hop the transit and take the and ride the rail north. As I say, let's say for the purposes of this, since I haven't actually done the calculations, it will take about 2 hours to get to Charlotte. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You emerge from the station at Charlotte into. It stopped raining. It's dry for the most part. You can definitely see like grimy puddles that have a like oil-like sheen to them on the streets. There are folks hawking questionable wares from broken shopping trolleys and such. There's some youths playing. You'd think it's football. Let's call it football.
Yeah. Let's call it football and not foothead.
Yeah.
That's an empty helmet, honest.
Yes. Our Corax is able to find a kind of street food vendor who is selling something from a cart. As I say, it looks vaguely meaty. It is glazed in something.
Perfect.
It smells vaguely edible.
That's okay. It's not for me.
Yeah. Well, welcome to my style of campaigning. Lots of euphemisms and lots of veiled descriptions.
We haven't had any Monty Python references yet. On the other hand, at the moment, you're basically buying glazed spam.
There we go.
Didn't feel right.
Yeah. So, you are able to, emerge from the station into this environment. Most of the buildings around here look to be about in the 5 to 10 story region, and are probably mostly accommodation.
Okay.
This area, the accommodations, are these buildings that have already been recycled and rebuilt?
Probably. It's difficult to tell.
Okay.
You said you've got Streetwise. You've got your guts is 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like because of the nature of the weather and the environment, something that was put up last week can very quickly look as if it was 50 years old.
Yeah.
We're talking that level of like external degradation, at least in appearance.
That's why I went with my character looks, mid early 30s, because I'm sure the weathering effect affects us too.
Moisturizer. Why do you think I'm always penniless? It's moisturizer.
It's because of the tanning beds.
So long as you don't start telling people to moisturize you, I'll be fine.
I'm with him. I'm with them.
Otherwise, I'll start calling you Cassandra.
Oi. Hem's fighting words.
Yeah,
Okay, Cassandra.
bits of Doctor Who might have survived.
Just please not that bit.
I guess it's how much are you connected to like a local AV nerd or something who has been scouring ruins and wreckages for old data.
No, with my luck, Love and Monsters is the only surviving episode.
I feel that episode gets a hard shrift.
I don't. I don't think it's hard enough. Right. Okay. Moving on.
I feel I'm very much in the minority there, but yeah. Well, up until
Everyone's
the ending.
entitled to their own opinion. Actually, yeah, up until the ending, and then the ending's just no. If you like the ending, I'm sorry, there's no hope.
No. Like we'll cut the last 10 minutes of it, and then you've got the most of a reasonable episode.
Yeah. Right. So you're looking for someone, aren't you? You're looking for contact.
So yeah,
I'm looking for a bar.
You've emerged from the station. Walking around, or are you intending to ask somebody?
Well, we know the general location of the offices, and these two are going to set up drone surveillance. So I'll probably separate from them and just ask around for where the locals tend to hang out, specifically employees of one construction company or another. I'm not going to specify which. I'm just looking for that.
Yep. Who are you asking?
It's going to be dependent on a couple of factors. If I see another one of me, another feral, I'll probably strike up a conversation with them, especially if they are bothering hanging out in this area anyway. Most of the time, because like there's going to be a lot of circadian network folk all over the place, including places like this. But I'm also going to ask folk that look like hard-bitten construction workers.
Are you specifically looking for someone from Circadian Network?
Well, making contact with them would be a thing, but I need to get used to this game first, because that's a whole thing.
It is. Like how well is Vault connected to the Circadian Network?
Loosely. There's been probably some traded information back and forth, but she doesn't work directly for.
Because if you wanted to, so what I will say is, if you wanted to talk to a feral of the Circadian Network, if you wanted to find a CN feral, I am going to ask for a streetwise roll.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. I'll do a streetwise roll for that and
Okay.
contact and try to find one of those. I mean,
Otherwise, it would be just asking around and seeing what kind of reaction you get.
yeah. So that's a 2 and a 4.
Okay, so that's 2 successes, I believe. So, yeah, it doesn't take you too long to find a bundled up figure, kind of like leaning against the side of a dumpster down a dark alley. You're kind of like, your instincts have led you here. And you kind of like take a look, and there's some movement within this kind of like bundle of rags, and a spiky head, like a spiky haired head, kind of like pops up, and then you notice a little scurrying, and then there's a rat, kind of like winds its way around the head to also sit on top, as you can't quite tell how tall this or how big this person is, because they're all hunched up underneath the blankets. But they fix you with this kind of like steely eye. Do you have Ash on you at the moment?
Yeah.
Or?
Ash is on my shoulder.
The eyes flick over towards Ash. And they're just peering at you. But your instincts tell you that this is the person you want to talk to.
I'm wondering if we could trade some information or make a deal to barter for some information. Just simple information about this area.
A grubby hand emerges from the bundle of rags, just outstretched. You can see cut off mittens, kind of in this ragged wool, covers most of the hand, but like what you can see of the skin and the wrist, which also emerges, is grime streaked, and such. And the nails are very ragged as well, and it's just an outstretched hand, while this gimlet like stare is fixed on you.
I'm gonna reach into one of my mini pockets, pull out. Is NEC a physical currency?
Yes, let's say it is.
Okay.
There has to be a physical.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull out 10 NEC and also probably half a ration and put it in their hand.
Their eyes go wide. Like clutches, like almost pulls your hand off, sort of thing, in how quick it is to retract, and then a thin voice. What do you want, miss?
I'm looking for the best area to meet with the locals, specifically the employees of the TMP Corporation.
Where do the builders drink?
Where do the builders drink?
Well, there's two blocks that way, and you see a head nod, kind of like back out towards the main street and right. It's called the Lift. Dingy place. Loud, very loud. You want there lots of builder types.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Name's Vault.
Mixie. You didn't peg you as connected.
Why is that?
They look you. You get basically a head to toe glance, and then their eyes fix on your cane.
Well, I guess it's not down to earth as much as everyone else, but the people I work for, I've got to go in various places, and I think this works out for me.
You come far.
Couple hours. I'm out of what's the name of?
Luxem Sprawl.
I'm working out of Luxem Sprawl. So if you end up there and are looking for information that I might have, you can look me up. I might be able to trade with you.
Not your regular turf. Keep out the way of the ballers.
Keep out the way of the ballers.
And if you got any friends here, don't go asking too many questions. You want info, come to me.
Well, if that's the case, what do you know about who runs the TMP offices? Do you have any names or
Where's
addresses
that?
for these people? What's my reception? And do we have any form of maps on our cell phones or access to information like that?
You've probably got the image that the Vanda basically sent you. As I said, bad Google Maps.
Bad Google Maps is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that out and show them. It's this building here.
Oh. Them. Yeah, we don't go near them much. Bad rep. Very bad rep.
We don't go to Ravenholm.
They don't like folks wandering around there. Bruisers, big bruisers.
Oh, that's good to know.
But busy. Well, trucks.
We lost Knight.
Knight's back. Can you recall him, please?
There we
I
go.
didn't even notice.
I figured
I was too
since
busy listening.
Okay, let's try and get Knight back in here.
PC problems, so he rebooted.
Yeah. Aha!
Hey!
We have a Knight.
Apologies for that.
Yay!
Very weird things.
No problems.
Okay.
Night has fallen and the stars have come out.
And of course,
That look.
and of course, OBS didn't pick it back up. Okay.
Oh no, obviously not. What are you expecting it to function the same?
No, that's the text box. Oh, I have so many elements on this scene. There we go. No, that's the camera frame. Player 2 camera. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Right, we have Knight's image back.
Yay! All right.
Yeah. Trucks going by every few hours, I reckon. It's next to a recyc plant. Oh, no worries, Knight. We tech issues and OBS definitely
Yeah.
what treating me to a good start today.
I'm enjoying it.
Honestly, Tech Issues gives us the lo-fi feel of a good cyberpunk adventure.
We interrupt your game session to
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Do they maintain a regular rotation of shifts, or is it just in and out?
The blankets shrug. Let's say, don't like people wandering around.
Fair enough. Anything else you can tell me about that area? Any other companies, or do they have a wide swath of land around their office?
Mostly building companies. Not all TMP, but I wouldn't put past most of them to be working with TMP in some way. Then the rat on their head scurries down to their shoulder and squeaks. And
I smile at the rat.
they purse their lips. Yeah. Yeah. Ratty says that you might want to keep an eye out for one of them flying cars. Visits there from time to time, he says.
Interesting. Did he actually call the rat Ratty?
Yes.
Or did they call him? Well, thank you, Ratty. Thanks for translating that for me. I really appreciate that. I think that's good enough for me to work with, Mixie. If you can't think of anything else, I'll be on my way. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
They nod and basically duck down, pull the blankets back over their head, and you see it rustle and then settle down again.
I hobble off in the direction that my friends should be going.
Oh, well, so
if you wanted us to hang around, by the way, it would just be we'd lurk in the doorway until you're done.
Oh yeah, that.
It's an area we don't know very well. We're not just going to wander and leave you to it.
It is. It's more. Probably if you were far enough away, I wouldn't want any of you being with me or nearby enough to be seen being with me when I'm doing my communicating with these people.
Oh, believe me, the sort of people you communicate with sometimes, we don't want to be seen with you either.
Well, you can speak for yourself on that.
I thought I was.
Where is Alba at this point?
Probably trying to fly around and be as conspicuous as possible, finding somewhere to keep out of sight, but not lose sight of us.
Inconspicuous.
That's the word, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fly casual. Just don't look like you're trying
Fly
to
casual. Well, a barn owl would camouflage really well with overcast.
Kinda, but it's also a very big bird.
It is,
and also like not inconspicuous on the train. Remember, So anybody
Yeah.
who saw you exiting from the station, you would definitely have noticed like murmurs and stares and like even some pointing in the direction of you and the bird. A barn owl is a very non-standard kind of
Yes.
creature to be flying around here.
Even common ravens, they would have been standard for a while, but like they're pretty big birds too.
Ravens more like
They're smaller than the owl, but
yeah, like they would be coming back into the ecosystem.
yeah, that's why I went with common raven, because they would blend in really well.
Yeah. But again, few and far between, especially like no trees and things like that. But people are accustomed, or at least are being told, that Saffron are reintroducing wildlife into the environs of New Europe to stimulate growth and bring back some semblance of the natural world.
Yeah.
So the rest of you were waiting while Volt did that info gathering. What do you want to do next?
They seem to be, well, I'm going to explain all that information so that you guys can decide how you want to go about the surveillance, because it looks like it's going to be a bit dangerous.
I'm wondering, in terms of workmen for the company being our best source of a way in, because there's always the bash them on the back of the head and nick their uniforms, and that's going to be easiest to do when they're getting drunk.
Yep.
Problem is depends on how well meshed the people working there are, and it seems, given what my friend there was telling me, they seem to be a cliquish type folk.
Oh, clique. Sorry.
Clique.
Just for
Sorry,
a second. No, it's all right. Just for a second, I was thinking, what?
Yeah, a cliquish
Sorry,
type
the
folk.
Atlantic
So
strikes again.
Yes.
if we end up nicking, a couple people's uniforms, and then we try and walk in that way,
Oh no.
probably going to get noticed by their peers.
By their peers, yes, but by the gate guards?
Almost certainly, if they clock everyone in and out.
Depends how that works. We are going to have to watch. We're going to have to watch and see how they go in and out.
Yeah.
If
This
it's
is a small site, probably with a small personnel base. They probably do know each other.
it depends how small. They might know their own shift. They might not know everybody. Yeah. Okay. Surveillance is going to have to be our way to go.
Yep.
We need to find. We need information. We don't have it at the moment. So we're going to have to watch how they handle a shift, and the easiest way to do that is, we are going to have to go fly a kite, so to speak.
I'd like to know what locks they use.
Yeah.
So would I.
I have a biometric scanner in my finger, so I can store one person's fingerprints. So if we do get workers drunk,
and I can break visual encryptions. So between us, we can sort that out if that's what they're using. So I think if we do some surveillance, we should be able to record and zoom in on entrances and see how they're swiping in, swiping out, or whether they're touch in, touch out, or biometrics, as you say. But until we have that information, we don't know what we're dealing with.
Do keep in mind, with the drones in the air, we do need to keep an eye out for a flying vehicle that does come in and out.
Okay.
Semi-regularly.
I clearly zoned out during that part of the conversation. Sorry.
Yeah, there's apparently an expensive-looking flying car that comes in and out every now and then.
Okay.
There wasn't a timeline on it, though.
Okay, well, it's not going to go in straight after coming out or out straight after coming in.
True.
So we wait for it to do one or t'other, and then we take that as a window.
Yep.
And while the drones are doing their thing, and we can record them as fast as possible, can we rely on your pets? Sorry, friends. To keep an eye out for anything that might threaten the drones, because the cameras only point one way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Right, we need to find a perch, so to speak. No bird joke intended. And then we can crack on, basically.
So, one thing I want to know is, so are you basically going to go straight from here to look for a spot to bed yourself in to do some surveillance?
I'm thinking, yeah, to be honest, I would wait until night, but given daylight is a limited resource,
I mean,
that may or may not happen at any given time. We don't know what time of day it is. The sun doesn't know what time of day it is.
Well, you know what time it is. Your chronometers will tell you what time of day has been enforced to be, because the 24-hour clock is still in effect.
This is true. It's not like Beneath a Steel... No, not Beneath a Steel Sky, wrong one. Under a Killing Moon, where they did a 12-hour shift to make sure everybody's out at night and home during the day.
No. For folks who are interested in how do you cope when you may get 1 to 3 hours of, in inverted commas, natural light during any 48-hour period, and how you continue to keep time. I did give the players a breakdown of how I feel that time is kept in Gaia Complex, and I can post that in the Gaia Complex channel for anyone who might be interested.
I think that's worth doing, yeah.
And I will give me a refresher as well. Yes. So
it'd be like the shifts in winter at Wilco, where I went in before daylight and I left as it was dark. That was just depressing.
Yeah. So I will post that there probably during the week for folks. But yes. So are all of you going there, or is anyone splitting off to go somewhere else?
I think
not for me.
It's reasonable for us to go, because we need as many eyes keeping track while the drone operators are doing their thing.
I also
need as many pairs of eyes work keeping us safe as possible.
I also expect that it would be good if Arlo ends up melding to watch the drones.
Thing is,
physically?
I'm going to be piloting one of the drones. I can't meld and pilot.
Well, even then, piloting does take concentration, so you got to have someone for cover.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to be caught out while our eyes are elsewhere.
I can tell the companion to watch for other airborne threats. And Alba will then guard the drones on that premise.
Okay. How? Just because I'm a little bit conscious of time. How long do you want to spend on surveillance?
As short a time as possible, but we need to cover at least one shift change, or we need to cover a shift change.
Okay.
Yeah. Ideally, we want to cover both ends of the shift change, but not necessarily the time in between.
We need at least one. Yeah, if we can catch a shift change and then land and key it back in for the other half, then yeah, that's the ideal. That should give us enough time to do a sweep over the site and not spend too much time with the drones exposed.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. I will. So you're coming in at that
as well
point.
as clocking the personnel movements during the shift change. I also want to clock the camera movements. There will be security cameras. I want to see where they are, where they point, and ideally identify some blind spots.
Well, also want to keep track of the bruisers, because big bruisers. I'm not sure what that means other than probably cybernetically enhanced meat bags for keeping the workers in line.
Sure.
And we need to know what their patrol routes are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, you've got a couple of options as you make your way towards the site, or your intended target. You've kind of got two main options for where you want to put yourself. You can either pick an alleyway between either some residential buildings or some warehouses, or try and get up onto the roof of one of the blocks that surround
Roof
the
would
place.
be my preference. Roof will be my preference, both for easy access for the drones, and also because we're less likely to have passing traffic.
Agreed.
Typical
Downside
flying
is
cars. Sorry, go ahead, Knight.
Downside is if we make a misstep while getting up there, we become that much more obvious because we shouldn't be there.
Well, better not make a misstep then.
Also,
whatever happens.
What is the typical height of that flying cars use for flying? Do they actually fly over high-rise buildings, or do they fly in between?
Over. I mean, you've only really seen them on in media, but we're talking VTOL, like VTOL air cards. Most of what you have seen are the vehicles used by the police, which are small. Think very similar to the vehicles used by Trauma Team or Max Tac in
AVs.
Cyberpunk.
Okay.
So small AVs like that.
That
Some more stylish than others, but even amongst execs, they are not commonplace.
Yeah.
that puts us at risk on the roof as well.
To be honest, we're going to be at risk anywhere. On the ground, we're at risk of people walking past and wondering what we're all doing, standing
It's
around.
pretty easy to look like a vagrant. It just takes a couple of blankets.
Less so when you're both driving drone controllers.
You do it underneath the blankets.
Have you seen how big those things are? They are literally described as like that.
The actual remotes.
Yeah. They're designed to be big enough. They're like big controllers with a decent sized screen.
I'm sure there's a dumpster in the alley that you can hide inside.
It's what I normally use, but I didn't think it would be Demon's first choice.
No.
Or second or third.
Also, you're going to get a better signal because they've got limited range.
So how would you suggest hiding on the roof?
Not that many things are flying. Flying cars are not that common. We've got
This
one
group of
vehicle
four-
going in and out.
This group of 4 has 2 drones and 2 birds, and you
Yes.
say there's not many things flying.
Not that many things flying. No, we're
We are an
mercenaries. Most
exceptional
people
group.
aren't mercenaries. Most people are just people.
Yeah, well,
That is true.
And to be honest, lie flat, lie in the lee of one of the obstructions in the building. It's not
Yeah.
going to be a flat roof. There will be
There'll be aircon. There'll be
contours,
something.
aircon
Yeah.
unit, yeah. So we
air
just simply-
conditioning in this day and age. What?
Ventilation. It's a thing. Because if you don't have ventilation in
People
sealed
start
blocks, people tend to die.
I was
Exactly
making
like, yeah.
I was making a joke.
That's right. Also, if you're that worried, does high-vis still exist?
Yes.
So construction workers, road workers, for example, would wear high-vis.
That's correct.
Any construction work, any sort of either construction or repair work going on the streets before we get anywhere near the offices? Because let's face it, a couple of high-vis jackets.
That is great camouflage.
Anywhere public, and you're instantly invisible anyway.
Yep.
Especially if you've got tech.
One of the
Honestly-
best camouflage things is a high vis jacket.
And that defeats the entire purpose of the high vis jacket.
Yes.
When personal protective gear
Has the
actually
opposite-
makes your life more dangerous.
people, basically you can go anywhere if you're in a high-vis.
Mhm.
If you're in a high-vis waistcoat, everybody assumes you're there
Yep.
legitimately.
Just look like you own the place and no one will bat an eyelid.
I mean, my uniform is high vis. I understand.
Yeah.
I never get questioned.
I know.
Exactly. That's the.
You know what?
It's like dressing like a butler. Yeah, it's just.
Let's say there is some active construction going on, not like on that site or like right next to it, but a block or so away, there is work being taking place on the roads around another apartment block, and you can see a couple of builder types like pounding away at
Really?
the road.
Oh,
And yeah, like they've got they're wearing high vis. You can probably see one that has been dumped over a barrier while the owner has popped off somewhere. But yeah, however, it
okay.
is in the street.
Okay, so we're going to have to, I think, probably try and filch.
Repurpose.
Remove.
Reallocate resources.
Yeah. Now, which one of you said that that was your thing?
That would be me. Strategically transfer of equipment to alternate locations.
Exactly. Minimum 1, maximum 4 high visits, please. Wait for them to go for lunch or something. I don't know.
If you're waiting for them, then you don't know how long it will be for them to take a break.
We can also, of course, cause a distraction. That's always an option.
Yeah,
if that would help.
A distraction would be very helpful because the chances are where there's a team, there's more in the. They've got more more vests on hand because not everyone from the team will have turned up yet.
This is probably a terrible idea, but Silver could advertise their services. That would be very distracting.
Roll up. We've got you subway off the line. They're up there, lovely.
I guess it's one way to get intel.
Guaranteed not to have fallen off the back of a truck.
Exactly, yeah.
I fell off the back of a lorry instead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's that's an option. Are there any ground vehicles on the road?
Not that you can see.
Not that we can see. Okay, so buggering up the traffic lights is not an option.
I do think that the high-vis thing is probably adding more risk than subtracting from it, if I'm honest.
To be honest, I think we'll probably be fine on the roof on as is because, as you say, there'll be stuff up there to hide behind, under.
It's perfectly fine.
I think we're more likely to get spotted on the ground, to be honest, because all it takes is somebody deciding to cut through where we are. And, they're going to start poking and then you have to start hitting. And it's just it's more dangerous for them.
You both operate on the ground more often than I do. I just want to point out things and ask questions. I'll follow your lead.
Okay. Right, so yeah, we're looking for a building which will give us an overview of the site because I'm still thinking in terms of limited signal towards the drones.
Most of the buildings around here that you like, taking a look around, you reckon that most of the apartment blocks around here are between 5 and 10 stories tall. What kind of one do you want to?
I'm thinking the taller the better, to be honest.
5 will probably do us. Don't forget the building we're looking at is only 2.
Yeah, there is that. But I like elevation.
If we go too high, we may well miss what we're looking for. Cause more obstruction by needing a sharper angle to have direct line of communication with the drones.
True.
Also, a building that potentially has fire escapes. I assume fire escapes are still a thing because fires do happen.
Fires do happen.
There's no safety for them.
Fire
It
escapes
depends.
are more likely to be internal, to be honest.
Yeah.
At least in Europe.
Yes,
overall.
that's true. So there is no external staircase. You'll have to it's
Okay.
roof, reaching the roof is going to be internal.
Okay.
That said, these are not the kind of apartment blocks which have much in the way of security. This is UK council housing.
So
blocks,
it'll either be great or it'll be shite, and the difference is time, how long it's been installed. What it's going to take is somebody wedging it open for half an hour.
Going in the back door wouldn't be too difficult. We've got 2 people that know how to pick locks.
So Silver, yes, I believe locks are your thing.
I guess they are. We should find a way in.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay then.
So, how high up do you want to be? Yeah. You
4 or
can
5 stories
you can find a building basically anywhere between 5 and 10.
Let's go for 6. Because you're probably right on the angle, Knight. And that will still put us above most routes. So yeah.
Okay. So front door or rear entrance to gain access to the building.
Front door's probably going to draw less attention, to be honest.
Yep.
It's not weird to have people going in and out of a building.
Yeah. It's notable going in and out the back door. Unless you're dressed like a delivery driver, generally.
Okay. So, what I am going to ask is, who has stealth? Or rather, who doesn't have stealth?
Oh, come on. Did you really think I was going to have stealth?
No, not for a second.
I have deceive, but I don't have stealth.
Okay. Silver?
I have stealth, yeah.
Okay. Those of you who have stealth, what is your reflex score?
7.
4.
Okay.
Not the most stealthy person.
Right.
You're more stealthy than one of us.
In which case, from Silver and Demon, could I have a reflexes check, please?
To be brutally honest, Demon is seriously considering lurking at the corner of the building and hoping somebody just holds the door open once it's open.
It's not a problem to get into the building.
Okay, fine. Okay. So what were you asking for again?
I'm asking for a reflexes roll, assuming actually this is probably an assumption on my part, assuming that you are trying to be stealthy in reaching the roof.
I am. I don't know about anyone else.
I mean, for a couple of us, it's just natural to be quiet.
So, in which case, yes, for Silver and for Demon, can I have a reflexes check, please?
Okie doke.
Is that 2d12?
2d12, yes.
Okay.
Demon is looking for 2 successes. Silver is looking for 1. And let me know if any one of them is a 12.
Is it equal to or less than?
I should double
Yeah, I need
check
to know that because both are going to force.
Let us double check.
Gotta ask.
How does grit work again?
You can use grit after the fact to subtract from both of your rolls. So after you roll, use grit, and you can subtract it down 1 for each grit you spend.
That's a relief.
So long as it is not a 12.
So it's not a 12. You cannot use grit on a 12. It'll still affect the 1, but it won't affect the one that was a 12.
Equal to or less than is a success.
We're great then.
Yep, that's fine.
Yep,
7 and a 2.
The system is forgiving.
So 2 successes then.
2 successes from
Demon.
From Demon and Silver.
Yeah, 2 4s with my reflex of 4.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, fish. Yes, you can.
So you make it up to the roof. your standard like asphalt, like asphalted roof, gritty and rough beneath your feet. There are a couple of like abandoned planks and breeze blocks up here, but aside from that, the roof is actually fairly sparse. But there is a lip, and it looks like the ubiquitous dumped sofa, broken down on one corner of the roof.
I checked that to see if there's a vagrant sleeping under there.
Just for a second, I was wondering
There
in there.
isn't. There isn't.
Hey, if you've seen some of my people, they find interesting places to sleep.
I was just thinking, we could flip it onto its front so that would give us some shelter.
You probably could. But yes, you find yourselves up on the roof, and as you're setting up, a roar comes from the skies above.
Okay, I'm gonna do a time check.
I'm gonna roll. Sorry.
Time check is early. I will give you a proper time next time, but it's early evening basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll up against the side that it sounds like the sound is coming from. So one of the, because you said there's a lip, I'm gonna go and right up against the lip and duck down.
So this is before you have a chance to properly set up the drones. You've basically just got up to the roof and are scanning around. As you see from the clouds above, a vehicle descending, this sleek gunmetal grey and red trimmed vehicle. It's got the profile of the police airships that you have seen, but it looks a lot both more understated and more expensive.
Okay.
And you see it land on the roof of the building that you are hoping to surveil. As it lands and the VTOL engines cut off, a hatch opens on the roof, and a figure you can't see very clearly, just from natural observation, emerges and walks over to the vehicle, keys in something, the door opens, they get in, and the vehicle departs again. All of this happened in the space of like 2 minutes.
Okay.
And that is where we will leave the session.
Okay. I think, by the way, while it goes over, I'm going to look as unobtrusive as possible by lying on the sofa and pretending to be asleep.
Fair enough. So, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here for session 1 of Took a Midnight Train, episode 1 of Connect the Dots, a Gaia Complex campaign. Tune in again in it won't be in 3 weeks' time because we've done a little bit of a shuffle. So let me grab the
Right, the
spreadsheet.
next one of these is the 20th of November.
Yes, that's right. And then there'll be 2 weeks in a row for this.
Yeah.
So yes, we will be back on the 20th of November with part 2, session 2 of this chapter, and we will get to find out what the group have surveilled and how they intend to deal with it. So yes, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Much appreciated.
Really enjoying this.
Yeah, I hope that was an interesting introduction. As I say, bit of a slow burn, but then this is the sort of game that I like to run and get people into, and also it's the first time I'm running this setting and system, so getting to grips with it myself.
I think this may have been the most backed game on Hint. on the Kickstarter, because
Yeah, I
everyone
think-
was popping up just saying, "Yep, backed it."
Yeah,
I
really is.
mean, a slow burn is good for getting the meat nice and smoked before you eat it.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, thanks for
exactly.
that. There's an image.
It's good for smoking your players.
Phrasing.
Thank you very much, everyone, as I said, for being here. If you like what you see and you aren't following the channel, please do consider giving the channel a follow. It is much appreciated, or telling your friends. If you do wish to support, you can do so in a number of ways, by donating or by subbing. Or by giving bits. We are open to all of that. Any funds that we do receive go to help support the channel, pay for virtual tabletops, new game systems, and the like. You can also join us on the Discord, link very helpfully put in chat by Moliere there, where you can talk to us, get involved with various games. We are always on the lookout for new players, new GMs, folks who want to get involved as well. We do in fact have an opening in our Saturday rotation coming up, if anyone is interested in filling in that slot. Do, as I say, join the Discord for more information coming out later this week. A number of us here are also streamers and will be doing things during the week. So, Drut, what have you got coming up for us this week?
Right. Well, tomorrow. Oh God, tomorrow, yes, is Monday, and I am going to be streaming some more of the excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which is bumped on from my last
Ooh.
Thursday session.
That is probably interesting.
Yes, so some very Hammer-esque folk horror set in Yorkshire, deepest, darkest Yorkshire.
Perhaps we'll actually get to see what's in the barrow this week.
Yeah, good luck. Apart from the world's creepiest pixel art cat you have ever seen in your life. And then on Thursday, I am going to be hosting a stream of Rift Tracks the game.
Yay.
So chat can get involved in that, and also hopefully people from Discord will be playing on that and causing chaos.
Looking forward to that. I really like Rift Tracks the game.
I really like Rift Tracks. Big fans of Rift Tracks.
Night Bites, what have you got coming up this week?
So Tuesday and Thursday, I will be back behind the drum kit playing to viewer requests. Currently, there's no themed stream cashed in, so it'll be just regular requests. Pretty much anything goes with the usual PG-13 caveat. And it's a thing I look forward to a lot. I like hitting things.
Yes, drum streams are a lot of fun, and it's nice to hear. Good for keeping company on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Shard, do you have anything coming up?
Still on an unintentional hiatus, and I don't know how long it's going to end up being.
No worries. Sarah Gill, do you have anything that you wish to plug? Because you are not a streamer yourself, I believe.
No, not really.
Okay, fair enough. And you can catch me. I will be streaming on my channel, twitch.tv/Chronomagistrate, on Wednesday at 6 p.m. BST, continuing with the Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure. Lovecraftian point and click with very much the classic LucasArts feel to it. We'll be starting chapter 2. And then next Friday at 3 p.m. I will be doing my usual Cards and Chilled chat stream with the unboxing of the new Magic the Gathering Warhammer 40,000 crossover commander decks, and showing those off on stream. So the 4 of those I have got, and then Saturday at 9 a.m. More Opus Magnum puzzle gaming with an alchemical bent. So that's from me. That's from all of us. I think that is everything, if I recall correctly.
That is coming up
anything?
next week.
Yes, thank you.
We have on Saturday, we have Part-Time Gods run by Moliere. I make it.
No, it won't be Part-Time Gods next week. Part-Time Gods starts on the 29th.
Okay.
I need
so Saturday is empty then.
Saturday is empty at the moment. If we can't find anything else, it will be board games.
Okay.
But I
and
will
then
put
on
out a call
Sunday
during the
it's
week.
Deeper Dreams.
Yes, K2 with K2 with more Pathfinder 1 goodness. Yes. So tune in for that next week. Saturday slot at 3 p.m. BST, Sunday slot at 6:30 p.m. BST. Tech issues permitting.
I will also plug that on the 30th of October, I am going to be running a Halloween special, which should run over 2 weeks, because I don't trust anyone to finish a one session scenario in one session. I'm not stupid.
It has happened.
It has happened.
We do
just
have
not often.
evidence. Yes.
Yeah. And I will be running Free League's Alien RPG in cinematic mode, translated as Rocks Fall, All Die.
They didn't last time.
I know, I gave a bloody try. But yes, cinematic means anyone is in danger and nobody is expected to necessarily survive to a future scenario. So I will be running Alien.
So thank you once again, everyone, for that. If you are interested, then yes, tune in 30th of October and 6th of November for the Alien one shot. Fish, I tried to make sure everyone died last time. You did. You gave it a jolly good try. Yeah. So.
I came very close to actually murdering Fish's character for trying.
Yeah.
I'm sad that I missed his part.
Exec, I'm sorry, you had targeting difficulties there.
Yeah. So on that note, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. We wish you all a very good time zone, rest of evening, wherever in the world you might be. And we will see you all very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.